You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Are you ready to learn the 3 secrets to launching a successful podcast? Hi, I'm Bill, a recent client of the Podcast Mogul. If you've been thinking about starting a podcast but aren't sure where to begin, he's got you covered. He is hosting a free webinar where he will share the 3 secrets that can help you launch, grow, and monetize your podcast without any fancy equipment or technical headaches. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot now and let him help get your podcast off the ground.
Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Hello, dear listeners. It's a pleasure to have you back on Investing Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am your host, Phil Better, the podcast mogul, and today's episode promises to be nothing short of extraordinary as we introduce our esteemed guest. Joining us is an award-winning DJ and entrepreneur who has carved a niche in the industry with Telzio, a company transforming the landscape of how we work and communicate. With a remarkable career spanning over 2 decades, his collaborations with major names such as Facebook, Samsung, and Airbnb have left an indelible mark. His achievements include over 20 platinum records, 40 gold records, and 3 nominations for Danish DJ Awards. What sort of gets apart is not just his professional success, but his resilience and determination in the face of challenges, including surviving a plane crash, people. Today, his passion for innovation and unwavering commitment to his craft continue to inspire us all. Without further ado, let's extend a warm welcome to our exceptional guest, the multi-talented Peter Schroeder. Peter, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. That was quite an intro there. I'm all blushing over here.
You're very welcome. I always like to think of myself as the personal hype man of every single guest that comes on, and I want them to be presented as I want to be presented one day when I go on stage or something like that, with all this like blustering thing. So I come on and all humble, but also it puts you in a position to deliver. So it's kind of like a fair trade. I give you all this hype, you're going to deliver, obviously. But Peter, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's start with the biggest question. Why did you become a digital entrepreneur? What decided? What happened? Was the plane crash? Was it you're like, I conquered the world of DJ, now let's conquer the world of business? Like, why did you become an entrepreneur?
I don't think I became an entrepreneur. I think it's just so deep in me. It's just what I am. I never really think about making money or stuff like that. It's just more about I do things that I enjoy doing, and the more I can do of that, the better. And that goes all the way back to when I was a kid. I was like 10 years old when I started, doing a little bit of business, and I eventually started my first company when I was 14. Sold it when I was 18. So it's my whole life has just been, just trying to do what I think is fun, and the best way you can do that is if you're your own boss, I guess. So that's really more why.
You just want to be your own boss to do whatever you want. You don't want anybody telling you what to do. So in essence, be a child forever.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean,
wow.
I'm sure my wife will say that. Yes.
Look, I already admire it. I look at it like you get to play all day long while you build stuff that you want to, so that people pay you to do what you love. I think that's the ultimate job, and it looks like you've done it. You succeeded at least as a DJ, getting all those accolades. How did you fall into the world of DJ? Like, was it just like, hey, I want to learn, and then all of a sudden, holy shit, I have this career?
No, I actually remember very clearly when I found out that I wanted to do it. I was probably 9 years old, and I saw a DJ at a school party, like a school dance kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I just saw this guy playing music and being able to give people a good time and make them happy just by playing songs for them. That was awesome, he was just there and he could play whatever song, and all of a sudden people would go bonkers, and that was just so cool to me. And then I just started playing for my friends' birthday parties with 2 ghetto blasters and some cassette tapes and stuff like that. And eventually I was old enough to start playing at a local bar, and then from there on it kind of just went one step by the other.
Oh, it's awesome. And have you learned any, like, your life as a DJ, has that influenced the business part of you and that world?
Yeah, I actually had a conversation about this with a good friend of mine, because we were talking about, like, why is it that so many of our colleagues have really high position jobs today? Like, our old DJ buddies that we used to hang out with when we were in our 20s are, in the C-suite everywhere. And I'm talking about everywhere. It's a lot of them. And I think it's because when you're a DJ, contrary from being, in a band or so many other jobs in general, you are your own business. You are a one-person business, and you have to do everything yourself until you get to some sort of level where you can have a team around you. But most don't. So until you even get to that point, you have to do everything yourself. So you have to be your own manager, your own booking agent, your PR press person. You have to be your accountant, your bookkeeper, and all these different things you have to do. So you get this primer almost from a very, very early age. You learn that, okay, if I'm gonna survive in this industry and get the cool gigs, I need to do all these things and learn how to do it.
As you were talking about your life as a DJ and the transferability of the skills, I'm thinking about all my friends here that I have that are DJs, and I'm like, wow, this is a perfect opportunity. I got a successful DJ here who turned businessman. I can ask all these questions, and then, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I get this song for all the others? And, like, they're DJ entrepreneurs. So this is them. I am them. This is for them asking you questions. Like, how did your DJ life influence Telzio? Like, tell us a bit about Telzio. Like, what is it you're doing with this company?
So yeah, it's very different actually. It's a phone service provider, a business phone service provider. So we have a software as a service platform online where you can sign up and manage your phone system for a business, everything managed online. And then we have mobile apps, so you have desk phones and all these different things, and works worldwide. And so you can say it's very different. But in certain ways, it's also similar. Like I've always been a major nerd. I've been, the kid that when I was 6 years old, I got my first computer and I wanted to find out how you made the video games rather than how you played them. So I've never, been into all those, playing games and those kind of things. It's just really been very nerdy. Same thing with when you're making music. It's especially electronic music, like I did. When you produce those kind of things, it's mostly just computer work. You're just sitting there nerding with things and really getting deep into it. So I think that transfers a little bit. The reason why I started Telzio was really because I was doing some music stuff. I was building like a online platform for promoting music between DJs and producers and radio stations and these kind of things. And I needed a support hotline kind of thing where people could call in for service. And I couldn't find anything out of the box that just, worked and did what I wanted it to do. And also the things that did find was really expensive and I had zero money at that point. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to build it myself. And all of a sudden I've been spending 10 years on that. It was such a lot of fun. And I think at that point I was burned out too with DJing. So yeah, it was perfect timing.
I love it. Where do you see yourself with the company? It's been 10 years. Do you see yourself at the head of this company for the next 10 years or in 10 years? or do you look like I'm ready to let someone else take this and scale it to the next level?
It's a good question. So yeah, it's hard to say because on one hand, I really enjoy what I'm doing. I like it, and the beautiful thing about this industry and this field I'm sitting on here is there's always something new. There's always something new to build. There's also always some new technology coming around. Like now we have all these AI things coming, and so there's always something new to build. So it keeps it interesting for me. But at the same time, I also don't want to get stuck. I don't want to do this forever. I have a new business idea every single day. So I don't want to just sit here and do that. And at some point, I probably want to find a professional CEO that has scaled it to the next level where I necessarily don't have the put a suit on and a tie kind of experience that might take. I'm a product guy and I'm good at certain things, but I also know what I'm not good at. So yeah, I would say yes and no. Probably not 10 years, but right now it's fun, so I keep going, and eventually I need to own a hot dog stand anyway. So that's time for that.
So this is just your dream is just to have a hot dog stand. So everything now is just leading to the hot dog stand.
Pretty much, it's on my bucket list. I need to have that at some point in my life. Just stand there, it's similar to the DJ thing, right? You're standing there and making people happy. Doing some little thing for them. I like hosting dinner parties too. It's just these, I don't know.
Oh, I love it. I can see it now, Peter, the DJ, your DJ name as the name of the hot dog, and you have a plethora of hot dog stands across the world. And you're like, it just started with one.
I just wanted to stand down on the corner.
How did I now become the multi-billionaire of hot dog stands?
I wouldn't be surprised if it branches out. I can't help it. That's the thing. And I think that's also what I was trying to get at earlier is it's one of those things where I'm not necessarily doing it for the business, but I just can't help doing it. If it's fun, it's fun.
Yeah. And I love that because it's been echoed by multiple previous guests. Like I just looked up and I have like 500 interviews. Like that's in this.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And that's just released. So that's just the released episodes. That's not accounting like probably 100 that is stored that need to be released. Which is also presents a problem. Maybe I have an addiction to podcasts, but it's been echoed multiple times. Like if it's not fun, you don't want to do it anymore. And I love that. I love that how you're like, hey, it started fun, and then all of a sudden I was able to scale it, and then brought in someone who's run an empire before to run it for me. And I think that's
that's the thing. Like I have raging ADD. That's probably also why I'm doing this. And I'm very aware of things I'm not good at. And I try to hire a bunch of really smart people around me that are good at those things. So I don't have to do them, and so that they get done in the first place. But I think that's really the thing. As long as you can do what you really like doing, then to me, money is not really that big of an issue. Like I've been in the past when I was DJing really broke. I've been evicted from apartments because I always go full on into something. Like I never do anything half. Have to be all or nothing, and sometimes that doesn't go well. So I've had my share of failures as well. So the thing is really that doesn't really bother me that much. It does now. I have kids and a wife and my family, but back then it was a little easier. But it's not as important as it is to just be happy and do what you want. And really right now I'm at a point where I don't have to look at the price in the grocery store and what I buy, and that is enough for me. I'm really happy with that. Not have to worry about things like that. Just like everyday stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's like, that's a level of freedom that not a lot of our audience may not be at the moment, but they're that I know that's the level of freedom I'm looking for. Not to be able to walk and just, okay, it's paid for, we're good, let's go home.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's success in my book. I don't need billions of dollars in the bank account. Just being able to pay for everyday groceries is success.
Exactly. It's not like I need a Ferrari or anything like that. I can just buy that. It's not about that. It's really, don't have to worry about those little things, and just focus your energy on the things you really like doing. That's all for me. It really is.
Yeah. I couldn't buy a Ferrari because I live in Montreal, and if you know anything about Montreal roads, it's pothole city, or they're always under construction. So having a Ferrari, Lambo, or any of those really nice cars, I drive it maybe to and from the dealership, and that's it, and for its yearly checkup, and even then maybe very slowly. So yeah, not European high quality. We're not there yet.
Though I'm surprised at how many there are in LA. I see them all the time here, and like the roads are really bad. I don't know how they do it, but yeah.
Yeah, and how
Yeah, man.
I'd rather have a little Civic, so I don't have to worry about, and the costs are very cheap. But anyways, I want to know, is there a moment or a memory that you have in your illustrious career of being a DJ, being an entrepreneur, all the way since you first started business when you were like 14 years old, still amazes me. That, when you're having the bad days, when the negative thoughts, because as in someone with ADD, the negative thoughts just go wild, that just keeps you going. Like, can be your light in the darkness some days. I know your family probably is as well, and obviously, but I'm wondering, is there maybe a business success?
Well, so my mom always told me, go to bed and get some rest, and you will know how to tackle it tomorrow. And that is always been something that's been working for me. It's such a low, practical advice, but it just works really well. Most of the time when you're stressed out about something, it's really just because your brain is overthinking it. You keep going. You're tired. You're exhausted. You've been on it all the time trying to solve this thing. Just let it go. Go to bed and figure it out tomorrow. And usually there's a solution to something, right? I think that's one of them. And then there's just this other, I guess, way I live my life, and my wife says that it's not everyone that can do that, and she's probably right about that. It usually is. But I usually say if there's something that's bothering you, or if you have an issue with something, why worry about it? There's no reason to ever worry, because if you can do something about it, then just go do it. Just do something. And if there's nothing you can do, and usually there is something you can do, but if there's absolutely nothing, if it's out of your hands, then there's no reason to worry about it either, because there's nothing you can do about it. So stop worrying. And I think that's just like very deep in just, I guess, my personality or how I am. I just try not to worry about things, because if I can do something, then just get up from your chair and go do it.
I love it. I love it because it's somewhat similar to advice I give my brother. My brother lives with paranoid schizophrenia. And so when he starts worrying, it just escalates and escalates. And he starts worrying about things in the future. And I've been teaching him, like, Chris, his name's Chris, I love him to death. Right now we can only deal with what's in front of us, right? We can't, it's no point dealing with worrying about what's ever, because I want to enjoy this moment, or we need to deal with this, and then we can get to the next thing. Like, this is the first obstacle. Let's just worry about that, because the rest will come when we need to deal with it. And so far it's been worse.
May change.
Yeah. Everything can change. Like, this problem that we solve, or this event, can solve the future ones that we don't have to worry about, So it's like, let's just deal with what is in front of us for now. And then we know those problems are coming. We'll deal with them when we get them, and try and avoid them if we can.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just like yours. If I can do something about it, I'll do it. If I can't, well, forget about it.
Yeah, and usually you can do something about it.
Yeah.
There's something you can do, right? You just go to bed and think about it, or go to bed, get some sleep, and then tomorrow that one will, you have fresh eyes. Things will present itself.
It's great. I love that piece of advice. I do want to get some DJing advice from you, because I really want to give it to my friends. And seeing as how you've been a successful DJ with multiple awards, they're currently club DJs, and they hire for weddings. They're in that moment, and they're getting bookings. But I want to see them get more successful bookings and doing more passionate. One of them loves scratching. He's a scratch DJ.
Nice.
He loves the West Coast scratching lifestyle. And unfortunately here in Montreal, there's not a huge scratching like vibration. Like this small community is very connected, but the passion for it isn't much here. What kind of advice could you give him to help him stay lit and not frustrated with the way the industry is?
Yeah, so it's interesting that you mentioned the industry like that, because it has changed a lot over the past 10 years while I've been gone, if you will. I started out, well, so this is like 20 years ago since like when I started out, but back then DJs were not even, an artist or a name. It was not something that you like. They were pretty much just hidden in the corner. There was not even lights on the booth. It was not a thing. And over the time it has become an artist, and we saw some big name DJs all of a sudden pop up, especially from Holland and Sweden, and all of a sudden EDM was the thing, and then DJs were all of a sudden the artist. And certain things have followed with that. One of them is a lot of non-DJs, I call them producers, songwriters, artists that make really good music, but the only way they can perform that music is as a DJ. So they're not really DJs, they're just out there performing because that's how it is. Those are the big names. Those are the ones hitting the top 10 on the billboards. But for everyone else, social media has really changed that game. I saw a little bit of it when I ended my career, or put it on pause. I kind of want to say. That I actually played like 380 gigs in 1 year between 2011 and 12, and I was also why I burned out. But back then I started at the end seeing that more and more the promoters of the nightclubs booking the DJs, they worry more about what kind of following you have on social media than whether or not you're a good DJ, which is kind of weird because it's very short-sighted. Because if there's a bad DJ, he might have a good following online, and he might draw a bunch of people in because his name is on the poster. Problem with that is, if he's not good, if he can't host a party, then that nightclub is going to be boring and slowly is going to decline. And you see a lot of churn in nightclubs in general, just like how they pop up and then they change name and so on and so on. And you see it more and more than you used to back in the days. So that game has changed. So if I was to give some advice, and as bad as it is be good at social media. That's if you want to get gigs, that's really what counts now, because if you have thousands of followers, you can get all the gigs in the world. That's what they care about. You have thousands of followers online, you can post that you're playing here and there, and you'll draw people in, and that's what the promoters care about.
Okay, well that's a great piece of advice. As negative as it may sound, and nihilist, if you will. It's practical, real life advice, and I love it. I'm looking forward to clipping that and giving it to my DJ friends, because hey, I know they need to hear this, and if it's coming from someone who's had massive success, it's going to be helpful. I have to ask about the plane crash. Obviously, I brought it up in the first question and in the intro, and while we were in the green stream, and while apparently you have a hole in your lip because of it, and you're dropping water everywhere. But
yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I'm dumping my coffee.
Oh, your coffee even worse. Pressure espresso coffee. Can you tell me what happened? What's the story with this plane crash?
Yeah, so it was in 2010. I was flying from Copenhagen to Aalborg in Denmark up to visit my mom. And there was a little commuter turboprop, I think it's like room for 80 people or something, so it's not completely small. And they couldn't lock the landing gear in place. So as we were about to prepare for landing, they found out that the little light didn't come off, I guess, that it was locked in place. So they had to circle around for, I think, almost an hour and a half to burn all the fuel. They couldn't dump it, I guess, and I guess maybe also prepare down on ground, because they actually had time to do it. And then they moved people from the center of the plane because I guess they knew that eventually if something did go wrong, the propeller could go through the fuselage. So they did that, and they were very, very calm, the cabin crew, and there wasn't any panic with the people on board either, because we had just the week before with the same airline seen another plane, exactly same model, the Dash 8. Don't fly that one, by the way. The Dash 8 Bombardier. Another one had just had the same issue a week ago, and did like I guess they call it an emergency landing. But nothing happened. It was locked in place, or nothing happened on that one. So we just did that a week before, and apparently that was a thing with this model now. That after some years that happened. So there was no panic. We were like, okay, that's just what happened the other day. So we're just gonna be down. We're gonna be a little late. So I actually called my mom and said, hey, I'm gonna be a little late. I didn't tell why. There was a delay on the flight.
Wise.
Yeah. And as we landed, there's actually a YouTube video of it, because the press had time to come out there as well. As we landed, it wasn't locked in place, so it actually did collapse on the side, and the propeller did go through the fuselage. So if someone had been sitting there, it'd been really bad. But no casualties. One lady broke her arm, and that was pretty much it. But they were really calm, and we got all the help in the world, and so it's not been a traumatizing thing, even though that I did forget about it. It didn't really surface until a few years ago at a dinner party, and I was like, oh yeah, wait a minute, I was in
Oh yeah, that did happen.
One.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's why the crew for the airline is paid for. They're there to make sure, they're not there just to serve candy and that. They're keep you calm and
They were so professional, and that airline, Scandinavian Airlines, is I think they had one crash before that ever in history, and it's a very old airline, and the plane back then broke in 3 pieces and no one died. Like,
wow, okay,
it could be, yeah, that was wild.
That's
forest in the middle of Sweden, something.
The fact that's impressive. If I'm going to fly in the Nordic countries, Air Sweden it is, but not the Dash 8.
Never the Dash 8.
Never the Dash 8 again. If I can find it out, I'll get removed. You need to bump people. I'm number one. As long as it's not a Dash 8, you're bumping.
You know what? The weird thing is, it actually happened again a few weeks later.
Oh my God!
In one Dash 8, yeah, and then they sold all of them to some African airline.
Wow. Hopefully they would have done a bit of repair on it, at least a bit. I don't know how I feel about that. But anyways, moving on from that touchy subject, and that incredible story about, like, even just a broken arm. That's an amazing thing to walk away from that, I have, we're coming to the end, which I hate, but I want to know, I have 10-year-old Peter here because this is advice from my nephew, as my audience knows. When he turns 10, getting from that book of advice from amazing entrepreneurs like yourself. I have 10-year-old Peter here. He hasn't thought about starting his first business, or he's just dabbled a bit. What piece of advice do you want to give Peter?
Just keep pushing. I think for me, I wouldn't tell me much about what was coming, because I feel like I've actually a lot of circumstances for me personally have caused me to be where I am today. Where I understand now in hindsight that because I was never the one with the talent that just is good at everything out of the box, I had to fight for it and really make sure that I get the best. So I put in the labor and the hours. But if I had known that, then I probably wouldn't have done it, right? So for me personally, it's about fighting for it and keep going and you'll succeed if you put in not enough hours. And I think that translates to everyone. It's really rare that you have someone who's just good at everything out of the box. It's hard. They're annoying. The guy that's good looking and plays the guitar in school. That guy, right?
We don't talk about him. We
all know him. So I'm not that guy.
Chad, bloody Chad.
Exactly. So that the thing is, all of us are not that guy, and we have to fight for it. And if you really are stubborn enough, and if you a little bit naive and believe that you can do it, because I'm definitely that, then you will succeed eventually. Just gotta put in the labor. That's really it.
I love it. It's a great piece of advice for 10-year-old you and 10-year-old nephew. And anybody who is looking to start being an entrepreneur, just put in the work. Because it's going to be a lot of work, but it's worth it to get the freedom not to be able to pay for your groceries without worry.
And you know what? That's also the thing, because we bootstrapped our company. We never took investors in, which is a good thing, because we can't. We don't have anyone telling us what to do. We don't have any boss, which is what you get when you take investors. But we had to grind it. We had to really fight our way. We're up against AT&T, Verizon, these kind of companies. So got to be a little naive to think, okay, yeah, I can do that on a bootstrap budget, $16,000 that we cashed out of my wife's 401k.
Right.
That's wild, right? Think about it. It's insane. I shouldn't do that. But stubbornness and naivety, and then just let all the no's that you get, let them fuel you. Just for me personally, when someone tells me no, I'm gonna, don't tell me no. That's the worst thing you can do if you don't want me to succeed. I'm gonna show you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Peter, I'm gonna jump off stage here. I'm gonna let you tell my audience where they can follow you, where they can connect with you if they want to talk to you about Telzio or anything like that. The floor is yours.
Yeah. I would love to show everyone Telzio, and if you have a business, it's the right product for you. We have some pretty good track records on our views, so just go read those. Go to Telzio, Telzio, or actually, I would say go to telz.io/feel better, because we have a 1 month free offer there. So you'll not only get a trial, but you'll also get your first month service free. So use that link. It's in the show note, I think. And if you want to connect with me personally, directly, peterschroeder.com. There's all my information there, and I would love to talk to anyone who has time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Peter, for that. And yes, it will be in the show notes, but I have to say that afterwards. But yes, there will be.
All right. Sorry.
I have to have a job.
Oh.
I'll walk away. You can run the rest of the show.
I'll take it from here.
Okay. Okay. Bye. No, but Peter, thank you so much for being on the show. It was a pleasure chatting with you. I can't wait to have you back on.
I would love to come back. It was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me.
To my audience, as Peter was mentioning before taking my job, the show notes will have everything for you to connect with Peter, as well as that link to try out Telzio for that free month, which is amazing offer. Thank you so much, Peter and Telzio, for that. As always, check out the show notes. I'll make sure to find that YouTube link so that you guys can check out the crash and be like, oh my God, people survived that. And then also to stay away from dash 8s as well. And you can show your friends. But on that happy note, as always, remember to invest in yourself.
Thanks for tuning in. Now it's time to take the next step. When you're ready to dive deeper into how to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast, Phil's got something special for you. Join him for a free webinar where he'll reveal the 3 secrets that have helped countless entrepreneurs succeed in podcasting. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot, and let's turn your podcasting dreams into reality.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.